We constantly complain about how the Western media don't take Asian artists seriously, but it's actually some or many fans that fuel and encourage this behavior. In an ideal world, we should never pay attention to haters. We should never support those who expose or speculate about artists' personal lives, no matter how harmless it may seem. We should support fair and objective and intelligent critics and art analysts that talk about the value of the art, like songs, movies, performances, and others. In the real world, what many fans do is engage with haters, hype up those who invade artists' privacy, and trigger speculations about an artist's personal matters. Then, they ignore fair, objective, and intelligent critics and those who spend their time actually highlighting the artistic value of an artist. You can just look at Twitter and YouTube as an example. The most viewed videos are those who talk about ships, videos recorded without permission on their private time, and videos talking about artists' private lives. This needs to stop. Mainstream media and social media are important factors in promoting Asian artists on the global stage. We need to use this to highlight the artistry of Asian artists, not as gossip platforms. And if we aren't willing to create content to help promote Asian artists, we should at least support the right ones. So here are 10 ways to differentiate the critics from haters from clout chasers. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. I would really appreciate it. Now back to the video. Number 1, effort to understand the meaning or purpose of an art. Artist or no artist, when you talk, you don't simply want to be heard or seen. You want to be understood. And understanding the meaning of your words is not enough either. It is the meaning of your words and actions and all the thoughts put together that should be understood. That is no different for an artist. When they make music videos, movies, TV shows, and other pieces of art, we should make an effort to understand what the art is about. A real decent journalist or art critic will make an effort to pull back and look at beyond the glitz, the glamour, and all that shimmer. If all you hear are oohs and ahs and expressions of disgust with no effort to really understand the full picture, it means there is a lack of respect towards the intention of the artist. They are either there for the clout, merely hating, or are just fake critics. Number 2, criticism is backed by substance and evidence. When someone says she's a lazy dancer with a slow-mo or a clip of an artist dancing, that is an unsupported claim. For you to know what lousy dancing is, you need to show and explain what good dancing is. If someone says they are lip-syncing, they should be able to prove it from a technical and practical perspective that they are really lip-syncing. If they say the story is a cliche, they need to back it up with previous stories that use the same plot points or developments and other elements. Receipts, evidence, proof, call it by any name that you want. But every claim must be proven.
What you know is what you can prove.
Number 3, the purpose of criticism is to elevate the art. If there is anything the artist, the critics, and the fans should have in common, it's the love for the art. The end goal of a criticism is to make things better for all people involved, the artists, the fans, and the industry in general. If the criticism intends to change the art to something else or insist on certain agendas instead of concentrating on how to make that art or artist better, they aren't promoting the art. They are promoting their agenda or themselves. Number 4, attention to detail. How many reviewers or reaction videos are there who don't really say anything about the music video performance or movies or even the interviews? They just clap, jump, let out expressions of amazement or disgust, and then they ask you to donate or you buy them coffee. Although there's nothing wrong with just simply enjoying the movie or music video or interviews or performances, we should also put more importance in elevating the appreciation for the art. If someone is really interested in the artistry, they will spot details speculators won't bother noticing. Number 5, consistency with their measures and critical values. One of the longest-standing debates is whether or not art should serve a purpose or not. There are some people who say that art should just be for art's sake, free of any moral or social obligation or messaging. And then there are others who believe that art should serve a purpose, otherwise it's just decoration. I think when you're providing a review or a critic, you're criticizing something constructively, it is not as important on it's not really important which school of thought you believe in or you follow, for as long as you are consistent. If a critic in the past has never really cared about the messaging or the social meaning or the social implication of the art, and suddenly he does, then you know that that's a warning sign. He's probably looking for a way to take out brownie points from that piece of art, or just looking for an excuse to criticize that art. Now, is it possible that they just change their mind? Of course, it's totally possible, but they have to be able to acknowledge it. They need to acknowledge that they have a change of heart. As I've said, reputation is very important, consistency is very important. Now, that's just one of the many examples. There are some critics that you can apply that in other aspects of the art. There are some critics, when they're reviewing a concert, they don't really care about the lighting, and suddenly they do. That's a warning sign. Some critics don't really care about the costumes or the narrative of the concert, and then suddenly they do. So that's a warning sign. Maybe they are just looking for a way to criticize or say something negative about that piece of art. Now, is it possible for them to have a change of heart? Yes. But again, they do have to acknowledge it. Number 6, clear difference between preference and objectivity. Of course, it's natural for critics to have personal biases. After all, we all grew up with certain sets of values and principles. Of course, that affects our perception of the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful. But real critics are aware when their biases are clearly at play, and they will actually acknowledge it. Someone grinding and pumping may be measured against how well they grind and pump, how synchronized they are with their groupmates and others. Now, whether or not grinding and pumping are beautiful dance routines may be influenced by one's values. A movie about serial killer has many facets: character development, cinematography, plot developments. Now, whether or not a movie that glamorizes serial killers may be considered good or bad may be influenced by one's personal disposition. A critic should disclose when it's their personal preference at play or when they are actually being objective. Number 7, no useless comparison. How often do you read of writers or watch reactors or reviewers or journalists that talk about an artist and then compare them to another more popular artist that has nothing to do with the art in focus? Using someone else to call attention to another work is a classic marketing tactic, though. The more popular artist will most likely call attention and encourage clicks and interaction. It isn't innately bad, but the comparison should have a basis. Did the other artist play the same role if we're talking about movies? Or did the other artist combine the same genre in a song if we're talking about music? If the mentioned artist has no connection, it is without a doubt a case of clout chasing, or they're just trying to generate hate from viewers. Number 8, balance of objective and subjective points. A huge part of art is subjective. What's beautiful for me may not necessarily be beautiful for you. More importantly, there are so many aspects of art that we can't concretely explain. If I say nobody sings "My Heart Will Go On" better than Celine Dion, I think a lot of people, or majority of people, will understand. Someone may sing it in a higher note while doing somersaults, but no one will capture its emotions the way Celine Dion does. But a legit reviewer should be able to balance objective and subjective points. So while Celine Dion's emotions may only be vaguely explained, the notes that she hit, the control over her voice, and the vocal techniques, and the vibrato may all be objectively discussed. A real critic will balance both. Number 9. The good, the bad, and the ugly. There are good points. There are bad points. And then, there are good ideas executed the bad way. A real critic will recognize the difference and will explain it objectively. A song may be talking about a good, rarely talked about issue of women, but ends up bashing men. Good idea, bad execution. The same way, a song may sound poetic with unique beats and melody, but actually it talks about how we should all worship a paperclip. That's good execution. Absolutely useless idea. Number 10. Speculations about their personal and private lives. Songs, movies, paintings, books, and other art pieces are the ones for sale, not the personal lives of an artist. If someone invades an artist's privacy, or speculates about who they are dating, or exposes things about their families, or anything private in general, that is unacceptable if done so without the blessing of the artist. Fair, objective, and intelligent criticisms are very necessary for the craft of our favorite to be honed to perfection. That's what we want. We want to be better than yesterday. We want our present to be better than those pieces of art that were created yesterday. So I hope that we as fans will be very discerning on who we support. When we know that somebody is a valid critic, a valid reviewer, then we should support them, because there is value in being detached from a specific piece of art, from an artist, because they just see the end product and not really concern themselves with the process and all the difficulties that an artist encounters. Their concern is really the end product, which is what everyone else is consuming. So when we support those critics, then we encourage them to continue what they are doing, and then we benefit from that because we're able to help our favorites hone their craft. And when someone offers their criticisms and their opinion, we don't necessarily have to agree with it. But for as long as we know that it is fair, it is objective, and it is intelligent, we just need to respect it, right? Let us remember that they are exercising their freedom to express themselves, to express their own thoughts, and we need to respect that. The same way we want the freedom to be able to express our own thoughts and our own opinions without being judged for it. We don't want to be shut down or pushed away when we are expressing our own opinions just because it's not consistent with theirs. Okay, I think as fans, one of my wishes for this channel is that we hone that culture, that community of being more discerning on who to support. There are a lot of critics out there that are really fair, they are really objective, and sometimes they do hit a nerve because they say something that we don't agree with, and we're very much attached emotionally to our favorites. But if we really are concerned about the well-being of our favorites, what we primarily would want is for them to be able to perfect their craft. And one of the ways that we can do that is to offer constructive criticism. So I hope we as a community, we nurture that culture in this community. Constructive criticisms, fair, objective, and intelligent. So I hope that helps. And again, thank you for listening. If you have any comments, suggestions, leave them in the comment section below. You can also get in touch with me in the social media channels that you see on your screen right now. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. I would really appreciate it. Thank you.